views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Let me be your lighthouse so I can show you the way. Let me be your shining light, I'll keep you from drifting away. I'm the one that makes you try when...
This is Patty Hunter of Patty's Page. Today, my special guest is Jamie Ward, and she's an author of several books and have been in other books as well. So you in 2021 had started the book 100 Things to Do in Indiana Before You Die. Is that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And how long did it take you to write that?
It took me about a little over 6 months. I did have some of it. I did have some of the research already done.
Yeah.
So it took me through 2021 and 2022 to do the writing and research part of it. And then it was published last year, 2022. And I've been on a book tour since last fall. I'm still doing some book signings. We'll continue doing that through this year. And so, yeah, it's been fun.
So through thick and thin, you have been all over the map there, haven't you?
Yes.
All of Indiana, that is.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You stay in the border of Indiana. You don't go outside it? Or...
I do go out. So I am a travel writer.
Mm-hmm.
By trade. So like my regular job is travel writing. And so I do a lot of Midwest travel and writing about a lot of the Midwest states. But I've been beyond that. I've been to California, the East and West Coast, and over to North Carolina, South Carolina, those states. But primarily residing in Indiana, my focus is really on my home state.
What is your favorite place in Indiana? Or should we put you on the spot, girl?
That's hard to narrow down. Oh. My favorite place changes all the time.
Fort Wayne, right?
I have favorite places in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I like to say I have favorite places in every region of the state, so that I like to visit.
Now you, in this book, 100 Things to Do in Indiana Before You Die, you have a lot of tour at the Sculptured Trails Outdoor Museum.
Yes.
You're in on that. Oh, that sounds interesting.
Oh, yes. Let's talk about that. So if you haven't been, and that's under the sports and recreation area, I'm going to turn there with you so we can talk about it. This is if you are into art, if you are into nature and art, this is a perfect activity, and it's free to do in Indiana. So it is located in more of the, if you're familiar with the Bloomington area, it is more in that part of the state.
South?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Kind of the south, a little bit the southwest part of the state. Yeah. Not quite to like Evansville south, but kind of between Indianapolis and Evansville. And this outdoor museum, it is over 100 statues, and you can walk the trails. And as you walk the trails, there are sculptures and statues and all sorts of unique, and they're really unique too, sculptures throughout the trail, all done by local artists.
Do you sell them, or do You just
They don't. They're permanent. They're permanent sculptures that are located along the trail. But it's just, I mean, it makes hiking fun. And it is a real like outdoor naturey area. So it's a pretty
okay, put your hiking boots on, people.
right.
Where is it, dear? What's the name of this? The building of it? It's called
It's Sculpture Trails Outdoor Museum in Salisbury, Indiana.
Salisbury.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you can even they have a there's a barn there, like an art barn at the beginning of this trail. Then they sometimes have classes you can take.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I like to try that, kiddo.
Yeah.
It's a 2-hour drive or something from Fort Wayne.
Yeah, I'd say from Fort Wayne, you're looking probably about a 4-hour drive, maybe three and a half.
You had to stay overnight. Whoa,
Yep.
we
That's
done.
okay. You make a weekend out of it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
For people who have trouble walking, do you have
Yes.
wheelchairs?
Mm-hmm.
So you can push them about, eh?
Some of the trail you can do. Some of the trail, like at the beginning of the trail, it is a paved path. So
Yeah.
you could do some of the trail. Once you get more into it, it's not very ADA friendly, but you could definitely go down and do the beginning and see the beginning sculpture.
And the end. Alpha, Omega. So bring a friend if you do go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's free lessons, you said? Or is that my imagination?
I don't believe that the classes they have are free, but the trail itself is.
All right. Okay, I heard the word free in there. But
Now, and it's a hidden gem. It's tucked in the middle of nowhere.
so you have to have a map for nowhere.
Yep, you want to have your GPS up or a map. Yep,
So it's online in your book.
it is. Mm-hmm.
It's called 100 Things to Do in Indiana Before You Die.
Yep,
Before you
that's
kick your
right.
butt. Oh, silly. So you have other books, do you now?
Yeah, yeah.
Do tell.
Yes, I have. So I'm also wrote an anthology book, which was written by several of us travel writers throughout the Midwest, and we have wrote Midwest Road Trip Adventures. We just came out with the second edition of that book. It's a nice read. It's a thick read, but that's because it's a travel guide. And so basically, I'll try to get it up there. It is
Road Trip.
Yes, Midwest Road Trip Adventures.
Driving or bus.
Yes.
Both?
So it's a great book because it is basically giving you pre-planned road trips of all the Midwest states. And so, lots of tips are included.
Mhm.
And we pride ourselves as travel writers to be really authentic in what we write about,
Mhm.
and having experienced all these trips for ourselves. So lots of these are our own personal tips, our own personal trips that we've been on. And so it's not a book, it's not writing that we've copied and pasted from information we've done, gotten online, but actual personal experiences and trips we've been on.
And where you can go stay overnight and how much the
Yeah.
lodging food would be and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this is our second edition. We've just updated our first edition we had done over the pandemic in 2020. So we've updated it since then. This just came out last year as well, just to refresh, update any businesses, that kind of thing that may have needed updating.
So businesses that were closed in 2020 are now
Correct.
open.
Yes, and we actually took our reviews from our first book and applied that to this book, and we added maps to it. Just a state map, kind of a general state outline showing where the road trips are.
That's groovy. Traveling. You had to put a lot of stuff in the car to go traveling on hikes and camping. Oh,
Yep.
camping. Mm-hmm. Where's the
Yes.
best camp places in Indiana?
To go camping? Well, I'm a fan of the state parks, the Indiana state parks. So, because we have great state parks here, I think they're underrated and don't get enough talked about enough. Which leads to the next book that we have coming out, which
Yeah.
is the Midwest State Park Adventures book, that's coming out next month, that we have wrote about. I wrote the Indiana chapter in that book. So I've visited all the state parks
Wow.
in the state. I love our park system.
Mhm.
I don't have any affiliation to them. I just love the outdoors.
The outdoors. Oh, how about
Yes,
cabins? And if you don't want to go
absolutely.
camping?
I'm not a tent camper. I will admit that. I
Mhm.
wish I was. So I prefer cabin camping and state park inns. So out
Oh,
of all our 24 state parks, the 7 of them have their own inns that you can stay in like a hotel. And my favorite in particular is the Brown County Lodge, which is the Abe Martin Lodge in Brown County State Park.
these are,
Um,
yeah.
that's in Brown County, which is in Nashville, Indiana.
Nashville. Oh, Indiana.
Indiana. Yep.
Nashville's are there in this country, girl? Country
It's
girl.
one of the most popular state parks to visit in the fall,
Mm.
for its like beautiful foliage. It's beautiful in the fall, just the colors and the rolling hills. They call Brown County the Little Smokies.
What's
Yeah, just because it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous to visit, and their inn has newer remodeled rooms.
Mhm.
So,
Are
so
they
I'm
big
a
rooms?
fan.
How many
Yeah.
people to a room? Two?
You can put 4, up to 4 in a room.
Mhm.
We also, my whole family really likes their family cabins.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they have family cabins that sleep up to 8.
Mm.
And they have kitchens in them and bathrooms, and they're a little bit more of the rustic lodge kind of cabin theme. And so they offer great views. And their lodge has an indoor aquatic center.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a little water park inside. So a lot of families like to stay there because if you're a guest at the hotel or in the cabins, you get free admission access to their indoor water park. So it's a great like weekend winter place to stay if you have kids on a winter break or even a spring break because you get access to that
So
water park.
there are grocery stores around there. You can cook your own meals in the cabin.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Or there's a grocery store right down the road. Yep. Or if you pack a cooler and take it in. Yep.
There's a lake there, right? No?
So there's 2 lakes at Brown
Mm.
County State. Yes.
And this is going to sound funny, but back in the day when I was growing up, they would have shower areas
Mm-hmm.
to clean off after going swimming in the lakes.
Oh, yeah. So they don't allow swimming in the lakes that are at Brown County. Yeah, but they do allow fishing and water
Okay.
recreation. So they do allow that. But they do have that rule at the indoor swimming pools,
Yeah.
though. Yeah, that you have to rinse before going in. There's a great state park in Fort Wayne, up
Is there?
north of Fort Wayne. That's one of the popular parks in
Oh,
Indiana. It's Pokagon, and yep, and there's a toboggan run there. Patty,
kind of late for me, girl. I'm 70.
I don't know.
But kids would love it. Is it like a hilly place and all that?
It,
Can't be
I
flat.
mean, it has its hills, but it has an amazing lake, Lake James there, and so you can go swimming there on the lake. But it also has an inn and an indoor pool, and then it's most popular for the toboggan run. It's a double toboggan run.
Oh,
So
spooky.
Yeah.
Good. Fishing. You're allowed fishing up there?
Fishing and ice fishing. Yep.
Ice fishing.
Mm-hmm.
What any fires in the ice house? Oh, anyways, hello. Anyways, I was curious. You need a license to fish
You do.
or whatever, hunt. You hunt?
Yes. Yep. You do in Indiana. You need a fishing license and then a hunting license.
Yeah.
Yep.
In Canada, when our hunters go hunting game or whatever, they wear a neon, a bright reddish orange jacket, so people won't mistaken them and give them a shot in the behind when they're hunting deer or moose or whatever.
Yeah.
How about here? Do you have to wear something colorful?
I'm not familiar with hunting, but that sounds like a really smart idea
Smart
and
idea.
something I think a lot of hunters do, but I'm not familiar with the rules of hunting.
You hear now and then a hunting accident, someone getting blasted away there because they were in incognito and you couldn't
Yes.
tell the human there or not. Yeah,
Yeah.
I advise you to get some neon or whatever glow.
Yeah. That'd be smart to do. Yes, absolutely.
Mm. Let's go to the next book, my friend.
All right.
Trip Adventures. Have we already talked about that, or are we going into that?
Which one?
Trip Adventures?
Oh, the road trip adventures? Yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah. All right. You do tell.
All right. So I wrote the Indiana chapter of the Midwest Road Trip Adventures. Yep. There's 4 pre-planned road trips in this book for the state of Indiana. I tried to cover each region of Indiana fairly. So each road trip covers, I'd say, 1 to 4 days for each road trip. So most of them you could do in an average of 2 days. On the road trips, I talk about restaurants that you can visit. What's that?
Pit stops.
Yes, pit stops. A lot of these places are good for pit stops. Yeah. Places that are good to stop for lodging or camping, unique sites to see, unique places of interest, and state parks and natural things that have, Indiana uniqueness to them and that kind of thing. So there's one along the Ohio River, one along the Route 40 from Richmond to Indianapolis, which is the national road. And then there's one from Fort Wayne to the Dunes. It's the Lincoln Highway.
Oh, the dunes.
Yes.
I've heard about them. What are they really? Is that flat land or?
It's pretty flat. Yeah. It's the Lincoln Highway. It's a nice road trip. It runs from Fort Wayne through South Bend and over to the Michigan City. Lots of food stops along the way. Unique little things that you might not even know about, regardless of how many times you drove that route.
Souvenir shops?
What's that?
Souvenir shops?
Yeah, not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of souvenir shops in Indiana, but places that you could collect, things of interest in Indiana. And then there's one from Clifty Falls to Brown County. So that's one that's great for somebody looking for a scenic nature and scenic, because that's covering 2 state parks. And then a nature preserve as well. And so
it's expensive to go into these preserves.
Oh, no, not at all.
Oh, really?
Not at all. A lot of nature preserves are free to visit. In Indiana, state parks are If you're in state, most Indiana state parks are only $7 per vehicle. So
How many people per vehicle? Just one.
as many as you have in the vehicle. So,
Okay, about 25.
so, but what I suggest is this is what my family does. We get the Indiana State Park annual pass, and the annual pass is $50 this year. That's what it is. It's been that. I think it's been that for a few years. It's $50 for the year, and that gives you access to all of the state parks all year. And we use the value of that within a month. So we've already,
a lot, girl.
yeah, we go to the state parks a lot. And so my family, we exceed that. So if we want to go to the beach in the summer for a weekend, we'll hit the beaches up at our local state park that's down the road from us. We'll go to the state park just in the evening to hike or something like that. And we're using that pass up in no time. And then we ask for it as a gift each year for Christmas.
Oh.
So somebody gifts it to us as a gift. So it's a great Christmas gift. And Indiana DNR usually has Christmas packages where they have a promo for at a discounted price in some sort of package.
What kind of cabins? Are they like Swiss chalet or just plain ordinary?
So it varies per state park. Each state park has different. Some have real rustic cabins. It varies. Some have real modern cabins that are nice. And some, like you say, might be like a chalet, and some might be more of a condo looking one. The ones I mentioned that are in Brown County that are the family ones, they have an upstairs and a downstairs and these huge windows that look out into the park that are really fun. But they also have, Brown County also has a rustic cabins. And those, of course, are cheaper to stay in. So if you don't care about the frills, and it may have a bathroom,
right?
What's that?
As long as it's a toilet and running water.
Yeah. So
it
all varies.
Okay.
It all varies on what you prefer.
I'm funny. I do kill myself sometimes. Anyway, I was going to say survival when you go traveling. What do you have to take? What should you take in case your car breaks down or something? Yeah,
that's a good question. So I always carry a car emergency kit, and it's just a kit that I made myself actually. And so things I suggest that you always want to carry is an old school map atlas. So I know everybody uses GPS nowadays, but when you're traveling,
that doesn't work.
Right, especially in southern Indiana, when you're in the hilly areas. I often do not get a cell phone signal when I'm traveling.
Blackout or whatever.
Yep, and I have needed my atlas many times. So to keep one in the car, even if you only need it so many times a year, if you're traveling, it comes in handy. I've had to help other travelers with directions by using that as well when they haven't had a cell phone signal but didn't have a paper map.
They gotta learn how to read the silly thing first before going out on a long hike like that,
Yeah, well, and even it's on the road too that, we've had to pull that out with no cell phone signal. But yes, on a hike, absolutely. When you're going on long hikes, you always want to take water. That's the number one thing that you want to take with you is some water. And if you're an avid hiker, you usually know that already if you're going on a long hike.
If you're a new one.
What's that?
If you're a new one at this.
If you're a new one, you want to take water. Definitely take some water. And every park system, if you take trash in, always take it out. If you take your trash in, always take your trash out with you because
leave it there.
Most parks don't have trash cans. So, yeah.
Leave it au naturel.
Yes.
You also
leave it all natural.
You suggest blankets and snacks.
Yes. So obviously you take things for like if you were to get a lost my train of thought, like a flat tire, things like that. Blankets, a blanket. I always keep a blanket in the car. I keep bottled water in the car. If you have snacks, that's just a must when you're on a road trip. you always have to have snacks, of course. And then let's see, what are some of the other things we keep in the car? I keep a one of those blankets, those like reflective blankets that keep you warm. Yes. I keep one of those in the vehicle, and I keep a this isn't a necessity, but I do keep well, somebody might find it a necessity. I keep a seatbelt cutter and a window breaker. Yeah, I keep one of those.
Can opener for your dinner.
Oh
yeah,
that might be handy.
Anyway,
I do take a cooler with me when I travel because I take my own drinks to save money. So I usually take my own water bottles and what's that?
Hibachi, they cook over the hibachi. What? Oh, the oven or something to cook over.
Oh, to cook. So I don't do a lot of that. I do a lot of more colder items just because to save room in the vehicle.
And you don't want
but I do
fires.
What's that?
You don't want to really start fires in the forest area.
Not unless you're camping. If you have got a camping spot, then yeah, pack all your stuff to be able to cook while you're camping and that kind of thing. But I don't do a lot of camping, admittedly. So I take a lot of things to do, like fridge, mini fridge, and microwave in where I'm staying.
Microwave. Of course, you'll be in a cabin with electricity.
Yes. Yep. So if you are high maintenance like me, and you are doing the more fancy camping, then
caviar, wine,
then you might take some frozen pizzas maybe and popcorn.
Well, listen, it's getting towards the end of the show, kid.
Oh my! Well, it's been good.
My stars. Well,
yeah,
we got to have you back on. Talk more about the books and what's in them, and where are the fun places to go.
Yes,
during summertime.
Yes.
So we'll have you on again in summer. Of course, it's spring now, April.
Yes.
So we'll have you on again.
Sounds good.
What's cooking in the fall. So this is Patty Hunter of Patty's Page thanking Jamie Ward for being on our Patty's Page TV show. Thank you so much. You're a joy to behold, and you've got a lot of information there, kid.
Thank you.
Ciao. See you next week.
Godspeed, my love, until we meet again. You're always in my heart and every dream. Don't let this time apart give in to all our fears. God will keep us close from up above. So until we meet again, Godspeed, my love. God is with us always for the rest of our lives.